All right, folks, so I had this dream last night, and a lot of this machinery, I don't know what it's called, so I'm just going to tell y'all what it looks like. There were these construction workers, and they were digging in the mountains and digging in the ground, and they had these big machines that, could do that. I've seen them in movies and things, but I don't know what they're called. I've never drilled in the mountains before. I've done oil field work, but this equipment wasn't used for that. But there was this guy backing in this excavator, and he ran into this building that I was in, and I kept telling him to stop, but he wound up crushing the whole trailer. And I saw these things coming out of the ground attacking people, so I guess the guy was afraid, and he just kept backing up to try to, get away from them. But they looked like dinosaurs, kind of. But they were coming out of the ground, and they were attacking people on this construction site, and I guess eating them. And these three Russians, I knew they were Russians automatically because they were wearing red jumpsuits. They had hard hats on, and they had Russian letters on the left side of their chest. And they come up to me. There was either, I don't remember if it was two women and a man or two men and a woman, but I know there was a woman there because she was the one who spoke to me. And she said something in Russian, and I don't know how I understood what she was saying, but she said, "I want you to come with me," in Russian. And I went with her, and she introduced me to this guy, and I still remember his name because it was told to me 3 times in my dream. And I woke up and I wrote it down because it kept going and repeat in my mind until I wrote it down. But the guy's name was Roberto Montero. I can't say the last name right. Montalvo, something like that. And I'll write it down in the description box. Maybe y'all can pronounce it better than I can. But anyways, the crazy thing is, I got a text this morning from Mr. Norman, who gave me all this information that I'm sharing with y'all. And he had told me that he had a dream too about a UFO landing, and the government's, talking with them. And on the 3rd day, we were raptured. So there's something else with the 3. It's just very interesting, y'all. We are so close to Jesus' return. I don't think anybody really has any idea how close we really are. Just keep looking up, keep the faith. French business owners face prison $45,000 fines for not checking jab passports. French businesses that do not check people for jab passports, the so-called health pass, could face fines up to $45,000 and a year in prison. World War III fears as China vows to use nuclear bombs in ongoing row with Japan. Officials from China's ruling Communist Party have issued a dire threat to continuously use nuclear bombs against Japan if there is any interference with a future Chinese invasion of Taiwan. At least 800 tons of dead sea life washed up in Tampa Bay. Hundreds of tons of dead sea life washed up along the shores of Tampa Bay due to a natural phenomenon known as red tide. And now local officials calling on the state government to help in cleaning up the massive mess. The truth about the jab that the CDC doesn't want you to know. On July 15th, 2021, the U.S. Surgeon General called COVID misinformation an urgent threat. We couldn't agree more. But what he neglects to say is that the misinformation is coming from the CDC, the FDA, and the NIH. Those organizations do not want you to know how many people have been killed or permanently disabled by the jab. This is called shot on sight. Biden's door-to-door jab propagandists are now bringing jabbers along with them. The witch hunt is on as the federal government prepares to send out health ambassadors and public health workers into communities and neighborhoods across the United States. Hate crimes against Christians becoming commonplace in Canada. Hate crimes targeting Christians are increasingly becoming normal in Canada. There have been at least 45 attacks on Christian congregations in the country since June, including 17 cases in which churches were completely burned down. DHS training program prepares for rural lockdowns. mass public quarantines against the unjabbed. A Department of Homeland Security training program has provided a model for federal government to normalize mass public quarantine measures despite C-19 infections and deaths dropping across the United States. The former head of Department of Health and Human Services under Obama is pushing the narrative that parents who refuse the jab should be forcefully separated from their children and denied employment. And I know you're all shaking your head just as I am. It's like, golly. Here's something else for you. The next emoji update will likely include a transgender pregnant man, despite the fact that only biological women are able to give birth. What used to be called science back in my high school biology class is now considered hate speech. In the dark ages in which we find ourselves, the radical idea that only biological women is capable of conceiving a baby in her womb and becoming pregnant. Did you ever think you would live long enough to see the day where that was considered hate speech? Well, you have, and here you are, watching the world literally be turned into hell while you watch. Folks, these were only a handful of headlines of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of things going on all at one time right now. Jesus is coming very, very, very soon. And I know a lot of people are looking up all this stuff and they're getting very depressed and things. That's why usually when I do stuff like this, I'll put something funny at the end of the video so it'll kind of get your mind off of it for that moment. I'd like to thank Mr. Norman for sending me all that information, and y'all keep looking up because Jesus is coming very soon. Don't lose faith. Don't lose heart. Keep looking up because I'm telling y'all, any minute, Jesus is coming. I love all of you and God bless.
He doesn't have a clue what's going on.